Okay, at first, I would like to share the words of our founder, Shinran Shonin, from one of his letters. So please, Jamie and Gasho, please put your palms together. "何よりも小僧今年、老少男女多くの人々の死に相手騒乱ことこそ哀れにそうらえ、ただし生じ無常のことあり、詳しく如来の時をかせおわしまして候上は、驚きをぼしめすべからず候。まず全身が右は臨終の善悪をは申さず、信心欠如の人は疑いなければ症状樹に受することにて候なり。さればこそ愚痴無知の人も終わりもめでたくそうらえと。It is saddening that so many people, both young and old, men and women, have died this year and last. But the Tathagata taught the truth of life's impermanence for us fully, so you must not be distressed by it. I, for my own part, attach no significance to the condition, good or bad, of persons in their final moments. People in whom Shinjin is determined do not doubt, and so abide among the truly settled. For this reason, their end also, even for those ignorant and foolish and lacking in wisdom, is a happy one. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Nammanda Butsu. Nammanda Butsu. Good morning, everyone. Well, I forgot today is Easter Sunday, so we have less people than usual, I guess. But well, I don't know. Maybe around same. But it was really nice to chant Hanju-san together with you. It's been like first time in 2 years to chant Hanju-san together. And I really love Oregon Sangha. Everybody try to chant, whatever chanting I picked. So Hanju-san is one of the most beautiful chanting in our tradition. I really love chanting Hanju-san. And the melody of this Hanju-san became the origin or basis of Shoshin, which we sometimes chant. So, this is really beautiful chanting, and I really love Hanju-san. But anyway, it was really a strange week. Started off with snow, right? Snow in April. That's really crazy. And it was low temperatures, hail, and thunder. And, a few days before snow, the weather was like over 70 degrees, right? Well, what was it? The slogan of the Portland. Keep Portland weird, right? And I guess we have to thank the weather for keeping Portland weird. But these couple of years could be considered as weird or strange years compared to the other years. Around March 2020, we started staying home and everything went online. That is so different from any other year of my life, maybe for your life too. I wonder what happened to the human relationship if we did not have online meeting applications, smartphones, or anything. And I am sure that we would have found a way to communicate each other, but I believe it was probably tougher compared to having these amazing technologies which connected us around the world. Let me stop the sharing. And maybe you can pin me or something. Yeah. But, the sudden changes of life, I believe this is what Shinran Shonin was experiencing when he was writing the letter, which I shared at the beginning. I remember I have shared these words of Shinran Shonin last year or a year before, sometime during the pandemic too. But this letter was written when Shinran Shonin was 88 years old in 1260. And looks like there was an epidemic in Japan in 1259, and it spread out the entire Japan in 1260. And this is similar to our situation from 2020 to 2021. And so many people passed away because of this pandemic. Until the beginning of pandemic, we were taking our lives for granted without realizing it. We woke up, had breakfast, coffee, dropped children off school, went to the office and work, and then picked children up at school, came home, had a meal, take shower, and go sleep, wake up, Everyone must have the routine of the day, but we didn't think that this routine would change so suddenly. So this is the proof of us taking our lives for granted without realizing it. So at the beginning of the pandemic, we felt how grateful it was just to spend an ordinary day without wearing masks or worrying about getting illness. But human beings have the nature of getting used to the things. As Al mentioned, the temple's hybrid service started March 27. And we are still in the stage that we feel so grateful for seeing each other's face and listen to the teaching together. But in a few years, I'm sure that we start to feel it is natural to have temple services on Sundays and complain about my Dharma talk being too difficult or, something like that. But, take temple services for granted. But we never know what is going to happen in the future, right? In 2017, it was so tough for me to say to the Sangha of Buddhist Church of Florence in Sacramento that I'm being transferred to Oregon Buddhist Temple. I was taking the life in Sacramento for granted and never thought about moving to another city. But because of this experience, I know that I cannot take the days I can spend with the Sangha members for granted. But don't worry, it doesn't mean that I'm moving away from Portland. But I like to stay here as long as I can, but I'm just saying, we never know what is going to happen in the future, and we cannot take each day we can spend together for granted. So that is what the meaning of Shinran Shon is saying. The Tathagata taught the truth of life's impermanence for us fully. So you must not be distressed by it. So if we attach to the idea that nothing is going to change and stay here forever, then we be so distressed by the fact that everything changes. And oftentimes, the changes come so sudden, right? So this is the first part of Shinran Shongin's words means. And then in the latter part of Shinran Shongin's words, he talks about how he does not care about how he died. Because the person of Shinjin and trusting heart dwell in the stage of the truly settled to attain birth into the Pure Land. That is the realm of nirvana when the person passes away, right? So the deathbed ritual or the miraculous events like purple clouds covers the sky or hear the music or smell the fragrance or anything, that is not necessarily for the person of Shinjin at the moment of death. So in the words of our eighth head priest, Rennyo Shonin, this is expressed as Heizei Gojo, meaning the karmic cause for our attainment of birth is accomplished during our ordinary lives. So if it was the efforts of the person to attain birth into the Pure Land, then the person needed deathbed rituals and needed to expect the welcoming of the Buddha and the sages of the Pure Land to welcome the person to the Pure Land. So the person cannot feel settled until the moment of death. But the person of Shinjin and trusting heart attain birth through the power, the working of Amita's great compassion, primal vow, so that we attain the stage of the truly settled in this life when we receive Shinjin, entrusting heart. And I often use the metaphor of reserving something to explain what the stage of the truly settled is like. I have 6 kids Kung Fu class students, and they are taking tests on this Tuesday. And even though I purchased the belts for all the students, they had to make efforts to make the, pass the test to receive the new belt, right? Until the end of the testing, they are not sure if they are able to receive the belt or not. But reserving something like, our Chrysler Town and Country got rear-ended February in last year. So we looked for another minivan and decided to purchase Toyota Sienna. And we went to Toyota dealer, but they did not have the color we wanted. So we asked the dealer to order the color we want. And we waited for a few months for actual arrival of the Toyota Sienna. But, we knew that we would get the car because we reserved it. So the stage of the truly settled is just like this. We know that we unfailingly attain birth into the Pure Land through the power of the primal vow of Amida Buddha. So when we entrust ourselves to the working, we are just like waiting for new car's arrival. Our birth into the Pure Land is in the future, is already settled. Does it make sense? Yep. And the deathbed ritual chooses the people's ability too. There is 7 Pure Land Masters. Do you know which scrolls is the 7 Pure Land Masters? It's easy, right? Because they have 7. If you count, they have 7. So you can find 7 Pure Land Masters scroll. But one 7 Pure Land Masters named Master Genshin from Japan. He wrote writings called Ojo Yoshu, the essentials for attaining birth. And he discussed the deathbed rituals in detail. But if the one passes away suddenly, just like this pandemic which happened in the past, they have no chance to accomplish the deathbed rituals. And they have to wander this transmigration again and again. But the path of Shinjin, entrusting heart, the path of entrusting ourselves to the working of the name Namo Amida Butsu, does not choose the abilities of the people. So recently, I often share this metaphor of the great ship and the swimmers, which was shared by the late Reverend Tomoyasu Naito. He said that how good you are at swimming does not matter when everyone board on the ship. It is the working of the ship to take us to the destination, and it's not the ability of the person to swim. If we have very good swimmers like Olympian on the ship, does the ship goes faster than the other ship? No, right? It is the working of the ship to take us to the destination. So who is on the board or who is on the ship does not matter. So it's all the working of the primal vow of Amida Buddha. That is the working of the name Namo Amida Butsu. And that is the calling of Amida Buddha as entrust yourself to my working. And it is also the encouragement and recommendation of all other Buddhas to entrust yourself to the working of Amida Buddha, and you will be fine. So intellectual understanding or wisdom is now required to attain birth into the Pure Land, and it is all the working of Amida Buddha. So that is why our tradition is called the teaching of other power of Amida Buddha. Our self-effort to attain birth into the Pure Land is not necessarily. Then some people wonder, what do we do in our daily lives then? Well, when we think about why Amida Buddha established the primal vow to take all beings to the other shore of the enlightenment through the working of the name Namo Amida Butsu, we realize that it is for the sake of the beings who cannot swim across the ocean of birth and death to the other shore of enlightenment. So simply saying, that is for the sake of myself, who are incapable of practices which requires focus and contemplation, wisdom and intellectual understandings. So our lives becomes the life of gratitude, responding to Amida's great benevolence for grasping us and never abandoning us. And this is how I live. Self-reflection for possessing the blind passions, such as greed, anger, and ignorance, and appreciation for Amida's great benevolence for grasping me and never abandon me, because of this nature of me possessing the blind passions. And because this path of other power does not choose people and does not require us to perform the deathbed ritual, our end is going to be the happy one. It is not the death falling into the darkness, but it is the birth embraced by the light of wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha. So finally, sometimes people worry the person who had passed away was not Buddhist, or they did not hear the teaching of the Pure Land teaching in their lives. So they are worried what happened to the deceased. But this is my personal opinion. The religion is not about judging other people, and it is about this self. And I understand that the person who surrounds me, Buddhists or not, they are a manifestation of the beings of the Pure Land of Amida Buddha. They are bodhisattvas who guides me to this path of other power. So when they pass away, I personally think that they have returned to the Pure Land. And their memories will guide me always to walk the path of other power, path of Shinjin and Nembutsu. So, well, I hope today's Dharma talk was not too complicated as last time, but this is me. This is my Dharma talk. So hopefully you have a chance to listen to Dharma talk again when you go home. It's on YouTube, so you can find it, my Dharma talk again, and see what I actually said again. So hopefully my talk was helpful, and I would like to conclude my talk with Gassho and Nembutsu. So please join me in Gassho. Please put your palms together. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Namo.